to the Patriots Raw, and we are here for another Tune In Tuesday. And we're live streaming from the America First Warehouse in Ronkonkoma, New York, the most patriotic venue
in all the land. I'm cracking up. Well, let's introduce our guest first because...
Okay, so we have with us tonight, well, before we get to the funnies, Massimo Guerrero, 19 years old, right?
Yeah.
You're a nationally recognized student leader, legal advocate, and a rising figure in the conservative politics. I'm so impressed.
I have to tell you something. About 10 people told me about Massimo first. And I was like, okay, and I love to meet people, and I'm like, oh, yeah, of course. I'm like, finally, I was like, all right, I need to meet this kid because, like, I heard from so many people about you. And
Thank you.
when I heard you speak at our rally in Belmore, we did the counter protest to the ICE protest a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. You just spoke like so incredibly. And
I wish I'd have been there. I wasn't there for that
yeah,
one.
James has it.
Yeah.
James has a video from that, and I think he's got him on there. It just, you spoke from the heart. You spoke about your grandfather. It got me in the feels, and I'm very proud of you for whatever that's worth. I have kids your age, and I'm so happy to know that there's young adults that get it.
Yeah.
Because we have to pass the torch today. I'm getting tired of this freedom fight, so I'm so happy to see young adults here.
Yeah, so welcome. Welcome to
Yeah.
the
Thank you.
Patriots Raw.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Finally gets to see the warehouse, which I can't wait to have you back here for some more events.
Yeah.
I love seeing people's reactions when
Oh,
they
it's
first
best.
walk in the door here. Just
It's
amazement.
like the awe and wonder and the amazement.
Yeah.
It's one of the best feelings.
You don't. I mean, it's not that you don't expect it. I mean, I took your word for it, but to hear about it and to see it in person for the first time is something. You walk in, and you're like, oh, wow.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, and then what I tell people is, like, even pictures don't do it justice, and even being here now, it's amazing, and I can't wait for you to see it some more when the show wraps up, but when there's an event going on in here, and you're in a room full of patriots, and everyone's having a good time, where just it's the best feeling. Of
course.
Yeah,
It's
there's
the
an
best
energy
feeling.
that comes out of this place. It's
Ah,
incredible.
Of course.
I
It
look around the
really
room
is
sometimes,
incredible.
and I'm like, okay, this is why I do what I do. That's the best feeling, so. But the reason why I was laughing when we came into the show is because Angie and I are so much alike, and then sometimes we're just so opposite.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at her beautiful springy outfit, and she looks like a breath of fresh springtime air, and I look
got
like
the floaty wings.
I look like Wednesday Addams today. I don't know what's going on. So I don't know. We're just very stark differences here. We should have put Massimo in the middle to balance us out a little bit. But
I'm summoning spring in the air.
and I'm just hanging on to fall. I don't get
Why?
it. Okay. I don't know.
Why?
I need some vitamin D. The doctor told me that the other
Yeah, me
day.
too.
So I need to go on vitamins now.
So let's talk about you, Massimo. You are you're in college now.
Yes.
Okay.
Sophomore.
Okay.
Awesome.
So and you go where?
I go to St. John's. St.
Nice.
John's University, Jamaica, Queens.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
And even a Catholic high school isn't as woke these days, huh?
Yeah. Catholic University.
University, rather.
Yeah. I went to St. Francis Prep, which is, ironically enough, maybe 3 blocks away, and I can't sit here and say anything bad about St. Francis Prep. It's about 3,000 students. It's ran by Mr. McLaughlin, who was just recently the Grand Marshal of the Bayside St. Patrick's Day Parade. Seen him again.
nice.
I've seen a lot of people on the board there. A lot of my first mentors were board members there, people who came and spoke at the school. And there was never a moment where you were shut down at St. Francis Prep.
That's awesome.
You know, they really amplified speech. There was viewpoint diversity, and it was excellent. Why is that different from St. John's? Maybe because there's more money involved, probably. There's more students there. Who knows? I don't know. I don't have the answer. You know, I just a student. But to me, there's such an irony that a high school, which is a large high school, is 3,000, 3,200 kids there,
Wow.
you know, was so different from St. John's. And St. John's is just completely different. The dynamic is different. The energy, everything. The students that
we hear
go
that
there.
a lot with even
Yeah.
the Catholic colleges. It's crazy to me, but they have. You know what it is? They need federal funding, so they
Right.
go. You know, they fall in line.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, Catholic University is, you know, we have I'm part of the Catholic Scholars, which is a group there, and they do good work.
That's
You
great.
know, and they do missionary work and stuff, and they do a lot of charity work, and there's a church on campus. You know, that's what makes it.
Praise God.
That's what makes it a Catholic university.
Right. Right.
But academically, you know, and the administration and X, Y, and this, and this, it doesn't carry through into every aspect of the university. And yes, I'm so grateful that it's a beautiful church at St. John's, you know,
That's
and,
awesome.
and the groups within the church and, you know, the campus ministry do good things, but with the students' education, and, you know, with the students' education and with the students' day-to-day life, you know, it's very different. And that's what is important. I think if you're paying for a Catholic education, your day-to-day needs to be a Catholic-based education.
Absolutely.
You know, your
Yep.
classrooms need to be Catholic-based education, the curriculums, not just because you have a church on campus. You know, it's
That's so true.
it's not right. You know,
It's not.
right.
Yeah, you want to be paying for, you get what you're paying for.
100%.
You know, you totally
Absolutely.
want to be doing that. So tell it, what's your major? What are you
So I started.
aspiring to?
Yeah, so I'm an English major, and you know, I wanted to sharpen my reading, my writing. Since I was about 9 years old, I was in the 4th grade. I grew up in Howard Beach. One of my 4th grade teachers, you know, said, and this was the election year. This was 2016, and my mom, famously enough, you know, I tell it to everyone, has never put cartoons on in front of me, and I credit a lot to
Wow.
the way I articulate myself to that. It was always One American News or Fox, and then later became Newsmax, and you know, we
Yeah.
went
Oh,
back and
that's-
forth,
that's
and stuff
great.
like
I
that.
want to be
And,
friends with your mom.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
my mom is the best. You know, that's, you know, you see me, and you know what I do. It all comes from her. It really does. And my dad was never really into politics. My dad was born in Italy. You know,
Is
came.
mom watching right now?
Yeah, she should be. If
Well,
she,
I have to tell you, your
if she
son
figured it out.
already made a mark on us. What's her first name? Are you allowed
Mary.
to say?
Mary, of
ah, it's
course.
a good, beautiful Catholic name.
You did a good job, Mary.
Yeah, Mary. We love Massimo. I heard so much about him for a while, and I'm so happy he's here now. Amazing.
She's the best. Yeah, and you know, since I was young, she put on news anchors, and I kind of picked up on the way they spoke. And when the election year rolled around, and I was in the 4th grade, I was full on, not debating, but me and my 4th grade teacher would talk about it, you know, and have these like
you.
elaborate conversations.
That's amazing
That's
for a
awesome.
for a fourth
I was
grader.
about 9
Sure
years
is.
old, yeah,
Yeah.
And she said, Massimo, listen, I think one day you should become a lawyer. You know, you should look into becoming an attorney.
That's what I wanted to do
And
my whole life.
I didn't know much about law. I mean, I was in the 4th grade. And I said, all right, let me go home and look into it. And I looked into it, and since that day, when I was 9 years old, I don't know the year, it was, 2016. Yeah, since 2016,
Wow.
I wanted to be a lawyer. So I've worked every single second,
That's amazing.
you know, to become that. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm heading to law school soon.
And it's going to be
I love
constitutional,
that.
right? Constitutional law?
Well,
Did I ask you that already? You kind of.
Well, I can't give you a definite answer. I do criminal defense now with an attorney named Joseph Murray in Rockaway. He's the best. I think he's been doing it 40 years. He has a ton of high profile cases. He's
That's
an
good to know.
amazing
We could have
attorney.
used you last week, actually.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why later.
and we do a lot. I do a lot of hands-on work with him. This summer, I was with him every second. I still go into the office and I intern. So I absolutely love criminal defense.
How did you find?
it's
How did you
awesome.
find this place to be?
Well,
He's from Howard Beach. He knew the right people.
Yeah, well, one it's kind of networking. I've known him from, you know, around the neighborhood, and
Okay.
I seen an opportunity, and I reached out and said, hey, I just would love to learn from you. That was always my line. You know, when you have these successful people in their respected profession, you know, it's just, how can I learn from you?
Right. You want to be a
Yeah.
sponge and just.
And I reached out, and he said, all right, come to my house in the morning. We'll go to court. And I went to court
Wow.
with him one day.
That's awesome.
And he didn't plan on having me back, I think, or anything like that. But I stuck that morning. I stuck the whole night. I said, all right, could we do it again tomorrow and tomorrow? And, you know, now he can't get rid of me. So I love criminal defense. It goes into constitutional law, stuff like that. But, you know, personal injury is where the money is. So I'm a little conflicted there.
Well, you know, who's a
Yeah.
personal injury lawyer, I can't talk, is Greg Hack, who you
Yes.
heard speak at the
Yes.
rally. And
Yes.
he's got one of the best, most successful law firms in New York City, and he's a
There you
very
go.
good friend of mine who, I don't know why, he texted me a picture yesterday and texted me today. I didn't respond yet. Greg, if you're watching, I love you. I have a prodigy here for you. I will tell him.
Thank
so
you.
know.
I appreciate it. Yeah, but
I
that's.
love a young patriot. You guys spoke together. recently
Yeah,
at the rally.
I've met him many times.
Yeah.
We met at the Queens Village
Oh, yeah,
Gala.
but yes.
Many times we've spoke, you know, and it's a great profession. Personal injury is an awesome profession.
That's
So
awesome.
we'll see. I'm gonna get through university
Not only
first.
Where you got to be. but-
100%. I say that all the
But
time.
knowing good people in those places is great, even just to have a colleague to, you know,
Yeah,
to know.
yeah.
Yeah,
And he's got one of the most successful personal injury law firms in the country.
it's good to know.
I keep thinking you're 19 years old. I'm like,
Yeah.
And if you would have heard him speak at the rally,
You're 19.
I know.
I started interning.
You're like
A year older than
30.
Anthony.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I started interning when I was 15. I started in the court with Judge Viskovich. I did an internship there. That was family law. And I just wanted to be involved in law. You know, and that's something, and we'll probably get into it later, a lot of kids I think lack is, you know, that they feel like they're entitled to something, whether it's
Yes.
paid internships. You're not entitled to any pay
That's
for an
right.
internship.
You're not entitled
for
to
nothing.
anything.
You're not entitled to nothing.
Except freedom.
Well, of course.
And if you would have heard the way he spoke at the rally, that got me in the, like right in the heart, is when he talks about his grandfather coming here from Italy. That really paints a picture, and I think why you're able to say that and understand.
Yeah, my father.
Oh, your father.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
is
my
wrong with
father,
you
my
today?
grandfather. Well, my grandfather on my mom's side as well. Same
Okay.
thing, you know. So, but my father really, he came here. He figured it out. You know, he came here at 7 years old, moved right into East New York. He didn't speak the language. Tough neighborhood. You know, he fought every day. He joined the union at 17.
Wow.
There was no handouts. You know, his father and his mother, my nono, like they didn't have anything. There wasn't like, you know, no handouts. They didn't take nothing from the government. You know, when
They
he,
had a dream, an opportunity, and they
Yeah.
and
That's
they,
right.
and
And they
loved
worked
it.
hard.
he learned the language.
Yeah.
He figured it out, and
Again, they assimilated.
me.
Oh my God, isn't this amazing?
Yes.
Well, we're going to go to commercial break in about 8 seconds, but stay with us. Come back after the commercial break. We have this amazing young man here. Thank you for tuning in. We can't wait to hear more.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just two entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our Patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW. Making travel great again.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
I'm sure you guys remember the platinum single Justice for All with Donald Trump and the J6 Prison Choir. Well, get ready for round two. We're coming out with Anthem of the Free with High Res and the J6 Prison Choir. It's coming out now. It's pre-sale until December 19th when it drops. Get yours on all platforms, Google Play, Apple iTunes. Get it. It's going to be hot.
Justice for all, our voices ring. The anthem of the free.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see. A symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Welcome back to the Patriots Raw. We're going to continue with Massimo Guerrero, right?
Yeah.
Got it right. And where did we cut off before? We were talking about your
His father, his grandfather
coming in
coming in.
and working hard. You're
Assimilating and
yes, yes.
the way you're supposed to do
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
yeah.
And that instilled in you the
Yeah.
same, that ethic, you know?
Well, they came here legally. They didn't take handouts. They were never on government assistance.
Mhm.
You know, and then my father met my mom, and they've been together since they were 18. Now, they're getting up there in age. I won't
We're all
put my
getting
mom on
old.
blast here.
Well,
live,
I had my kids young. I was they were probably the same age, but I had my kids very young though.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of lessons to be learned, I think, having an immigrant father. Especially, I think, with my political views, sometimes I get a little, crap for it.
Mm-hmm.
But, my father did everything right, and never once have I ever said, I don't like immigrants, listen, like,
No,
my
that's not what
father
any of
was-
us feel like.
Has nothing to do with it.
and that's just
We just don't
always
like
the point.
illegal, unvetted invaders.
1,000%.
It's like I don't, it's like the gay people conversation. Just don't groom my kids. I don't care what you do. Like
100%. Yeah, I could make the point a million times, but I think a lot of people that argue with me on this don't care what I have to say anyway, and they just argue for the sake of arguing.
They just like to be. They should be lawyers too. They just like to argue.
Yeah, 100%. But my dad's great. Local 282, a union guy.
That's awesome.
For maybe, I think now it's got to be close to 40 years. He's got to be on like going on
Wow.
36 years. He's looking to retire soon.
Oh, yeah.
No one works harder than a Italian or like an Irish immigrant
100%.
in the union in New York City. I can tell you that
You know,
work ethic.
7 days a week.
Wow.
Since I was young. But the whole point is that he came here, he fought, he did the right things. He made a very nice family, for me, my mother, my sister. Now my sister has a kid, another one on the way.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
it's very, very important to come here and to learn the culture and to be American. And just one generation it took. It took someone like my father coming here at 7 years old from Avellino into what I like to think, I try to be a great patriot, every day in my life, and I'm speaking to people like you on podcasts, and I'm getting awards at events and stuff like that. And I don't say that in a narcissistic
No, I was
tone.
so happy to see your name on that.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience, but now I'm fighting for my country as a first generation American, because I feel like there's things to be said with the
That's awesome.
experience that I have.
That's
and-
amazing.
And a lot of people just don't really have a brain.
No,
I
they
think.
don't.
No.
No. Do you
Sometimes I
see?
wonder.
So okay, so you're 19 now. So you were in high school during the pandemic at all? One
Yeah,
year?
my 8th grade graduation was during the
You were in
pandemic.
middle school still then, right?
Yeah, but my first year of high school was like half and half, or like it was all
Like in 21
BS.
was that?
Yeah, like 2020, 2021. Then my sophomore year, which was like 2021, 2022, it was back in person with the mask on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's tough. I always feel so bad for the kids who
Yeah.
went through that. So my point to that was, I see personally a shift. Like, so I have kids your age. My oldest will be 22, which is impossible because I'm only 29, but whatever. And so my oldest is Vincenzo. I have some good names too, that
you go.
like yours. My son Anthony is 18 and my daughter Giovanna is 17. And their friends, and maybe it's because of me and how I raised them, they don't really have liberal friends. Because I think the moral compass just doesn't the same.
It's not there, yeah.
And so I'm seeing, so all of my kids' friends, a majority of them, almost all of them, are young, conservative. I'm thrilled about that. When we went to the Trump rally in Wildwood, is that where were we? Wildwoods.
In New Jersey, yeah.
We saw thousands of
Young.
I would say like maybe 18 to 25, 26-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all ages, but like thousands in that age bracket.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, wow, there's a shift happening in
Yeah.
this generation.
That was one of the biggest rallies that
Right?
he had.
And it was like,
like
to see that many young
100-something
adults
people.
in MAGA hats was a
Yes.
beautiful thing.
Yes.
So my question to you is, do you see the shift in your peers or yours, I may be hard in a New York college, but, or your immediate friends, cousins maybe? I don't know if you have a lot of cousins like me. I know we have a lot of cousins in these
Yeah.
kind of families.
Of course. Yeah, it's an interesting question because it depends what you mean by shift. Everything now is political, and there isn't a person really on this earth unless you just go about life and
Don't give a shit.
don't care about nothing. Which it's
There
some,
are.
I mean,
There are.
listen.
There are out there.
I mean,
Yep.
the reality is that I would assume, back in the 80s, most 19-year-olds were like that. You didn't really follow politics.
No.
Now everything is politically charged. Everything.
It is.
So with that, it goes into two different places. it goes into a small group of people who, like go against their family and gather their own ideas. And typically that's only a liberal in a conservative family. You'll never.
I did that for like a year.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't want my family. I'm like, I don't have to do what my uncles tell me. I don't need to vote Republican. I'm going to be a Democrat. I would
Exactly.
be humanitarian for
The,
1
the
year.
rebellion.
Yeah, and you typically see a lot of the younger generation, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, they're usually Democrats. And I think if you don't value hard work and things like that early in life, you probably will be a Democrat until it kind of phases out and, you get
start
into your
paying bills
mid-20s, you
and-
start paying
Yeah, right,
taxes
yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like
You're
that.
like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I don't want my money going somewhere else.
Exactly.
You learn
And
I don't want to pay for those illegals that aren't working.
And you kind of mature. It's not easy being a conservative. It's not easy being a Republican because
Especially at your, I mean this with all due respect,
Yeah.
especially at your age. Like, I don't give a
1,000%.
flying, I only associate with these kind of people at this point. But being a young adult, when the odds are
1,000%.
against you, that's not easy.
1,000%. And I think the younger crowd tends to be more liberal because it is easier. In a perfect world, let every immigrant in. There's no
Right.
repercussions. Let them all in. Who cares?
Yeah, have
You know,
100 abortions, mutilate a child.
1,000%. Listen, if you're
Be a
19,
furry.
if you're 19, you're 20, you get pregnant, have an abortion, no stress. It's your body. It is easy. It's not easy having a child. It's not easy
No.
going through childbirth and having a child. It's not
Or
easy
doing
at all.
it alone. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's not easy, getting a wage, and fighting to keep it. Let's just give everyone everything.
Right.
I make $400,000 a year. I'm taxed 48%, like it is in New York. All right, I'll take $210,000. Give $190,000 to government assistance. It's easy.
Crazy.
It's easy to make decisions with other people's money.
Yeah.
So when you say, is there a shift? Yes, I think there's a shift. Everything and everyone is political. Maybe 5% of people don't have a political opinion, and most of the time, if they say they don't, they're probably lying.
Yeah.
There's absolutely a shift. Everyone is political. Will I say, do I think more people are becoming conservative? I go to St. John's. I really don't know. I grew up in Howard Beach. Most of my friends were in Whitestone. And if someone's really liberal, it's hard to be friends with them.
It's very, I can't do it.
And
I can't even do it.
It's not even so much me. Listen, I look at everyone as a person, and I
We're all God's children.
1,000%. I separate their political views
From who they are.
from who they are,
Right.
and I don't take it out on their character. Whatever that may be, it is what it is. But a lot of them don't like me.
Right.
Just because.
Just because I'm very open about my
Right.
conservative views and of whatnot. So a lot of them don't like me. But I think now it's a lot more tolerated to be a conservative.
It is.
Yeah,
That is a nice shift. to see,
Yeah,
actually.
100%. Like I could, when
Or
I'm
even
in
faith.
class.
I see the shift in faith.
Oh well, that is
That's-
100%.
and that's going to
Yeah.
lead into, I think,
Yeah,
the
that-
political shift because it goes kind of hand in hand.
100%.
Hand
I
now.
agree. That's 100% happening. With conservatives, I think now, if I'm in a lecture at St. John's University, I mean, listen, I tell anyone to debate me. There's never a time I turn down a debate, but I openly say now, I voted for Trump. Maybe I critique him on this and this and whatever, and I talk about it in class. If this was 2016, I was in 8th grade, I was in 4th grade, yeah. But if this was 2016 and you're at St. John's University and you said, yeah, I voted for Trump, people
Oh, you
probably
think-
get up and start throwing paper at you. So
Right.
I think there is a difference.
Well, you know what I think
Yeah.
happened was it became cool to like Trump last year. It seemed like all of a sudden it was like the cool thing,
Yeah.
to be, and Angie was on the phone with me last night. I was in Plainview, normally a very, very liberal area, but I see that shifting too. And there was a group of kids, I call them kids, in the car next to me. I love your car. My car's all trumped out, my
Really?
license plate, my car. And I'm in an area, and I'm thinking, wow, I love this. Even they're not afraid to say, I'm clearly not afraid. My car's a billboard, and but
Or those that are conservative that kept their views quiet felt
Yeah,
now
they're
feel
enabled
like
now.
they're
Freer, right?
they're freer and they have less inhibition to
Yeah.
speak out about it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, typically, young adults who are educated, without these exterior influences, are probably conservative. Even like you see it in New York City with Mom Donnie, 80, and I mean this, 85, maybe 90% of people who voted for him have no idea about anything. Maybe besides he's going to have the buses are going to be free.
Right,
Have
that's
no
all they
idea about his
saw.
policies.
Yep.
Mom Donnie ran probably the most successful media campaign in American politics history.
Empty promises.
Yeah, empty promises.
Or promises you have to
short
pay for.
TikTok videos, short reels. The guy's very charismatic.
Yes.
Every single person I've met who voted for Mamdani has no idea anything about Mamdani.
Do any of them regret it yet?
I don't think they don't admit they're wrong ever.
Oh,
That's impossible to admit they're wrong. But yeah, I mean, eventually, hopefully.
I hope so.
It will.
Eventually.
I
It
think this
will.
will make people. So this is what I always say, and we've been talking about this for a long time. I'll speak for Angie and I for a second. We're deep down the rabbit holes. We believe Trump has a plan. We've been sticking to that. It's been checking out all the way through. That's why I have complete faith in what's about to happen. I think he's got something huge for this summer,
Yep.
and I'm going to stick with that story. I don't know why lines haven't been drawn in the sand yet by everybody in this country. Like, if the pandemic didn't do it for you, the vaccine didn't do it for you, the border didn't do it for you, the fentanyl crisis didn't do it for you, the amount of abortions happening didn't do it for you.
Sharia law should
Sharia-
definitely do it for you.
I don't know. So maybe I pray, and I'm sorry, you're going to have to learn the hard way, Mamdani's going to finally cause people in the boroughs to draw a freaking line in the sand.
hope so.
What is it going to take? Half your inheritance? I mean, this crazy
Yeah.
shit he keeps trying to roll out? I can't. I'm sorry, I'm going to go on a rampage.
And I hope it's not people dying. I really do. I
Well,
hope
sometimes
it's not.
we're in a war, and that's
I know.
casualties of war. So
know.
before we cut to commercial break, can we bring up KDJ real quick? I'll close us out with that. Kevin Downey Jr., our friend, we love you every day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on 103.9 LI News Radio. Great patriot, writer, comedian, podcast host. We love you, Kev, and we'll be right back. Thank you for tuning in.
Have you noticed your money just doesn't stretch like it used to? Your paycheck feels lighter, and your savings aren't growing. The culprits? Inflation and increased money supply. They've both been quietly eating away at your purchasing power for years. Today, the dollar's value has dropped significantly. You feel it every time you spend money on goods and services. Back in 1965, $1 or an ounce of silver could buy you a gallon of milk. Fast forward to today. That same dollar barely buys a couple of coffee creamers, while an ounce of silver would get you 8 gallons of milk. Gold and silver have held their value for centuries. If you had 2,500 ounces of silver back in 1965, you could buy a brand new Ford Mustang. Today, 2,500 ounces of silver would buy you 2 Mustangs. Similarly, in the year 2000, 628 ounces of gold would buy a new $170,000 home. Today, 628 ounces would buy you a $2,500,000 home. The problem? 95% of Americans don't own physical gold or silver. They think it's too complicated and too expensive, but it doesn't have to be. We offer a membership program that allows you to buy gold or silver with as little as $1. You can buy fractional amounts, safely vault them, or have them delivered to your doorstep, and you can liquidate them whenever you want at the highest buyback price in the industry. Ready to protect your wealth and keep your purchasing power? Scan the QR code or go to tafw.soundmoney.com to learn more.
If the vote count is accurate, then how come the number of voters is different? And if it's not accurate, then why was it certified? We are suing Letitia James and the New York State Board of Elections for a conspiracy against fundamental rights. This is not about who won. It's not about what party. It's about the fact that they don't care about your rights.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse.
It's me, Joe the Box, and I'm John the Blanket with the America First podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
That's my feel about it, yeah.
Welcome back to the Patriots podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We're having a great discussion with our friend Massimo, and we were talking about right before the break, Mamdani. He's from the boroughs, so he's got a better perspective than even we do. And let's get back into Mamdani because I'm hearing that he's one of the hottest topics around the country lately. Everybody's all eyes are on Mamdani right now.
Well, it's, I mean, he's a DSA elected mayor of the biggest city, one of the biggest cities in America.
I call New York the capital of the world.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's different. And a lot of people use the term scary, and in a sense it can be, but I never like to think like that.
There's no fear in a patriot heart.
Yeah, I've trust in the country. And I was at the New York Young Republican Club Clubhouse, which, if you want to talk about that, such an amazing group. They give a platform to young Republicans and young conservatives, a very needed platform.
Mm-hmm.
And, they do great events. But we had Scott Lebedo there the other day, and it was a Turning Point event and a New York Young Republican Club event. And he said something interesting that I never really thought of. And, I mean, maybe we all think it, but, I never heard someone put it into words. And he said, you have to kind of let the forest burn.
Mm-hmm.
I would say
let it
Let
burn.
the city burn because the empire has to burn sometimes before it rebuilds.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And it's just so well said because from what I've seen a couple liberals flip. Or, I've seen a couple moderates flip over. Even if they didn't vote for Trump or they're still not a fan of Trump, because some people aren't, they still probably would vote for someone more moderate.
Right.
So which is huge. And,
It is. It really
when I
is.
sit and I ask myself, why? What caused them? What was the catalyst for them to flip? I think they see the damage that goes on to the country. So as much as I hate to say it, I was born in Howard Beach. I've been there for all 19 years of my life. You have to kind of, like Scott Lebedo said, let that forest burn a little bit. Listen, if he wants to raise taxes and he wants to destroy the New York economy and he wants to let socialism run rampant, right, and let Islam run through New York. And that's another thing, and I do want to be clear about it, because a lot of people get offended, and I don't want to misspeak. I know a couple of Muslim kids that I'm friends with, good people, and it's not an attack on their religion. They have a right to be here. But in my eyes, if America becomes fundamentally an Islamic country,
I'll die first.
you can't. Well, we're far from it. I don't want people to get confused.
I don't think we're as far as people think, though.
We're not as far as people think, but we're still not. We're not on the verge of it. But if you consider like 20, 25 years, we could
I think
get
we're
there.
closer than people think.
1 to 2 generations.
Yes.
1 to 2.
And it all stems from the birth rate of a Catholic woman and a Christian woman and an Islamic woman. And it's not like, I don't want to get into religion wars. All it comes down to is Christians and Muslims can only coexist in a Christian state. Meaning, as long as America is a Christian Catholic state, everyone could be happy.
Right.
But if you flip it and America becomes an Islamic state, Christians and Muslims cannot coexist because fundamentally they are not really allowed to coexist with Christians. They don't really like them. So it's nothing personally against Muslims, but if you allow this rampant run of Islam to run through, you see it in the streets of New York. And it's funny enough, ironically, just on the topic, we have a spectrum group at St. John's, and it's an LGBTQ rights group, and a lot of people get mad because it's a Catholic school.
But you couldn't have a Turning Point chapter.
Yeah, you couldn't have a Turning Point chapter. That's a whole nother thing. And listen, I will never sit here and really criticize, like, oh well, they're LGBTQ group, get them off the campus, whatever. They want to be here. We're in New York.
Yeah, but
let them be there. But
it's anti-Christian and anti-biblical, though.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Exactly.
See, the old me used to feel like you. When I was 19, I would say the same thing you said, and I'm not. It's not. I'll tell you why. I was raised Catholic. I'm actually an evangelical Christian now, and reading the Bible, it's very clear to me what the Bible says. And so, I understand the humanitarian part where people say like, look, but no, a Catholic's. You are not being a true Catholic by allowing an LGBTQ plus club.
Yeah.
And listen. Not that I care that there's one there. It just is anti-Catholic.
Yeah,
it is.
I wouldn't necessarily say you're wrong at all. I'd say probably the majority of Catholics feel like that, and I'm not even saying I don't feel like that. I'm not saying that being homosexual is a sin in Catholicism because it is. It is. If we're going by the book, it is. I feel like they have the right to be there. And if they want to be there, let them be there.
I agree with that,
Catholic
though.
campus or not, I don't mind. I love to hear people's ideas. I love the open expression. With that said, there 100% should be a turning point there. And that's something that we could have a whole nother...
I still want to help you with that.
Yeah, we could have a whole nother podcast just on the hypocrisy at St. John's and why there should be a turning point there. And I should say the student government. If we're being correct, it is the student government. Is the administration passing orders down to the student government? I don't know. That's, theories people say. I'm not saying it's true at all. I don't sue me. Nothing. But what I was going to say is there's, this LGBTQ group, and, they'll go around the campus with, like, Palestinian flags. And, they put out a statement on their website, like, we stand with Palestine. And it's ironic, and I was sitting to my mom, I was sitting talking to my mom, and I was like, if these people went to the Gaza Strip, they'd be stoned.
Hung.
And hung.
Yeah. They don't even know it.
So it's just funny to me. It's funny, it's ironic. And I sit and I look at it and I say, what is the only possible explanation? What is the explanation for this? Because if we're going logically, it doesn't make any sense.
None of it does.
So logically, what is it? And I think the grasp that the Democrats and liberals have on the youth is just because a lot of them feel like they want to be a part of something. And I think that's what the difference is. They see this, they see this Palestinian war, with Israel.
Their right to fight.
And it was with the BLM stuff, and then it moved into the immigrant stuff, and then it moved into the No King stuff. You don't see Republicans out there like protesting and stuff. And like I said before, it's hard to be a conservative.
It is.
We have hard but true and very reasonable standpoints. But when it comes to these young liberals, it is just they want to be a part of something. And that's all it comes down to. And I mean, listen, like there's some conservatives that feel really, really strong and they really, really want to join Turning Point to theoretically be a part of something. But there's logic behind why they want to be in Turning Point. These young liberals just see like a group or an organization and they jump on it. There's no logic behind it. And like I just said, why would an LGBTQ group be supporting, I mean, and you even see it now with Iran, but why would they be supporting Palestine?
Blows my mind.
I saw a post, maybe it was yesterday on X, and it was a video, I believe, and it was of a woman, an Iranian woman, speaking to a protester at one of the No Kings events, and was explaining to her, do you even realize what you're protesting? I am Iranian. I was brutalized. I can't walk down the street there. Do you have any idea? And by the time she was finished, having a conversation with the woman was crying, and she's like, I'm putting my sign down. Like, she had no idea until this woman actually took the time and explained to her. Didn't scream and yell at her, but she explained to her, and she finally kind of got a grasp on what was going on. People don't.
And that's
they
the
don't
approach
know.
that we've tried
They don't
now.
know.
I don't really do opposition rallies so much. I mean, I know we did I did that counter to support ICE.
Of course.
And it ended up turning into after you left us, it turned into a whole crap thing afterwards.
What a night! That whole ICE. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I just want to get.
Take it away.
What a nightmare! What they're doing to these federal agents. I don't care. I don't care what your political opinion is. It is Homeland Security, ICE, all that, they're not getting, people aren't getting paid, this
It's
and
insane.
that. And even when we seen that man get shot, and we sit, and I'm in a lot of criminal classes, and we go back and forth, and we argue like, oh, well, if he got put on trial, what would have happened? This and that. It's all geared from a liberal anti-ICE protest. Listen, like whether the cop was right in shooting him, that could be debated. You want to put that up to debate. You want to put that up to litigation.
They were impeding on a federal immigration enforcement operation. You have to be a complete moron to think that you're not. You're impeding on a federal operation. I don't know why. I have no sympathy.
No matter what it is.
I know I sound heartless. The older I get, I have zero sympathy for Pretty and Good. I don't. I mean, I don't know what you were thinking was going to happen. It's insane.
Yeah.
These people are jumping in front of cars.
Yeah, and
I don't.
It's just, to me, it comes down to, do I ever want to see anyone die? No.
Of course not.
But it's just, whether the cop was right, whether the cop was wrong, it all stems from these hostile protests. And I think that's what you blame.
Yeah.
Listen, maybe the cops shouldn't have. Let's just say maybe the cops shouldn't have shot him, right? You have 150 people attacking you. You got people running around. You're running rampant all day. You're stressed out. You're trying to do your job. You got someone over here. You got a million people running around. You don't know what's going on.
And you know he has a gun. And you know he has a gun.
That's not what a protest is.
No.
You know, and
I've
it's
said
what
that.
a lot of
I've
people fail.
hosted probably hundreds of protests at this point and rallies, and we don't behave like that. It's just that simple.
It's not what a protest is, and that's why you see so many.
That's not a peaceful protest.
Deaths and stuff, and whoever was right and wrong. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that he was put in that position.
Absolutely.
You know, these ICE agents, these federal agents. There's no respect for chain of command, especially from my generation. Are you nuts? It's a federal agent.
That's
it's a
right.
federal agent. I mean, it's just a respect thing. You know, like it's a whole. We could stay here for hours.
I get like that too.
We could stay here for hours.
You get out of your head with it because it's
such a shame.
It
I
is.
was never raised like that.
I wasn't either. My mom would still beat my ass.
You
if I
respect
acted like
them.
that.
Never.
And my kids know better too.
Yep.
I've asked them. I said, I don't.
Horrible.
It's a scary world.
It sure is.
Absolutely.
Well, before we go to commercial break, can we bring up the podcast asset? I'm not looking at the numbers. They're going to kill me up there.
Podcast asset is number 10.
Number 10. We have 14 great shows coming out of America First Media and Television, and we're going to put up the QR code there in a second. You can screenshot that or scan that. Check out all of our shows. We are very excited. There's so many things for everybody to watch. All truth, all patriotic, all godly, coming to you from the America First Warehouse and America First Media and Television. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be right back. This is going fast tonight.
It sure is.
You've worked hard and saved, but inflation and increased money supply are eroding your buying power. Protect and grow your wealth with physical gold and silver. Sound Money. With a Sound Money wallet, your wealth stays in your control. Buy fractionally, vault securely, ship directly, and instantly liquidate your gold and silver at the highest buyback price in the industry. Real money, real ownership. Visit tafwsoundmoney.info or scan the QR code and start securing your financial future today.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
Get ready to move and celebrate freedom like never before. The America First Warehouse proudly presents Freedom in Motion, America 250. Join Lisa for an electrifying dance fitness fundraiser designed to get your heart pumping and your spirit soaring. This dynamic 6-week session is perfect for all fitness levels, whether you're just starting out or ready to level up your routine. Feel the energy of an epic patriotic playlist. Boost your fitness, learn exciting new moves, and relieve stress while having an absolute blast. All for just $100 per person, and it all supports a great cause. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Come dance, get fit, and celebrate America 250 in motion.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed because there was nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
Welcome back to the Patriots Raw. What a good show this is. I'm so glad you came.
I know. We've been
Thank you.
waiting.
Yeah.
We had to book him so far out, and then when we had the one cancellation, I did call him, but he was going. I figured we'd bring him on twice.
It's so refreshing. It really is. I love it.
That's why I
love it.
want to
This
get
is-
him
this
involved
is-
in the young adults podcast that we started with Lila Ray
Yes.
and Alden. And I said, I have a great young. I sent them your bio. I said,
Yeah.
'cause
Like, you guys are the future.
I want to give you guys a platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we need it.
Yeah,
You know, in
so-
New York, it's hard. So.
Yeah, it is hard.
So we were talking right at the end of the last segment, we were talking about turning point. So you had you tried to attempt to
Yeah.
create a turning point chapter at the school.
Yeah,
So what happened with that?
Yeah, we could literally talk about this for 3 hours, and I tend to ramble, so I'll try and stay direct. I put in an application. This was all after Charlie Kirk died.
Okay.
It really inspired people.
A lot of people were moved by it because whether you liked him or not, I mean, if you try to start a Turning Point chapter, you like Charlie Kirk, so I probably shouldn't say that. But, this whether you watched him or not, it was a figure in conservative politics that you've seen get assassinated, in front of a crowd of people. It's like, oh my God, like what's going on?
Such a
It
traumatic.
moved a lot of people.
Yes.
A lot of young conservatives. I know I listened to a lot of Charlie Kirk.
Oh my! I didn't
You
realize
know.
how much my kids did too. Crazy.
It's disgusting. It's horrible to see. And I would say the same thing if it was someone on the left as well. It's horrible to see. But it moved a lot of young people.
Sure did.
And I put in an application with the Turning Point field rep, Anthony Romano. He's the best.
I
don't
know
if
you
he's
just saw
watching.
him on. So I work with all the Turning Point
Yeah.
chapters, and I love Anthony.
He's the best.
Got to call him.
He's the best. And every
He
single
is.
we just did an event at the NYYRC Clubhouse. Everyone loves Anthony, but we put in an application with him, and then Jack and Dylan, the two kids that are the president and the vice president. I'm actually the treasurer. I just do like
One
all
of
the
them has
media
red
stuff.
hair, right? I met him at the Village.
Dylan kind of. No, I don't. They weren't there. It wasn't them. But Dylan, no, Dylan. Doesn't
Okay,
have-
I want to connect with them too.
Yeah, that might have been a YR. I think I know you're thinking
Oh,
about.
it was Young Republicans. That's
Yeah.
what I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
but so Dylan and Jack put in an application the same time as me.
All at St. John's?
All at St. John's.
Okay.
And I did as well. We're all in the Catholic Scholars Program, so I know them well.
And I think you need at least 2 to start a chapter, right?
I'm not sure. It's
Something like that?
different at every school.
Oh.
St. John's is completely different. It's private. So yeah, like just for all extensive purposes, St. John's is private. So everything is different. There's not like a book to follow. Like, oh well, they got to
New
do
York
it this
State
way.
law or something. It's yeah.
It's a private institution. We
make
play
their
by their
decision.
rules.
Right.
So Anthony said, "Hey, Mas, I think these two kids put in an application. Why don't you just combine applications with them, and then you could have a spot on the e-board?" Little to my knowledge, it's my good friends Jack and Dylan. I said, "Yeah, great, awesome. The more the merrier. Let's do it." So Dylan was the president, Jack was the vice president, and they have their own story on why they started it as well. This is just from my lens. I think they were talking about wanting to do a chapter, then Charlie got
if those
assassinated.
two will
and they
come
did
on,
it.
we'll bring the 3 of you back on again.
I would love to, and they definitely would too. They're very into it. So that was it. It kind of kicked off like that, and then I am very vocal. I really I'm not scared of nothing. I could care less.
Love that.
So I was reaching out to people in the school, reaching out to people from Whitestone, from Howard Beach. Hey, we want to start this up. Would you be interested? We made an Instagram, put a link for GroupMe, like
just to get a feel of who wants to join.
yeah, like an app for like group chats and stuff. You had 85 people join in about 10 days.
Wow.
At St. John's University, say, it's such a liberal school. There's a lot of conservative students, a lot of
stay
kids
quiet,
that,
right?
were quiet.
Yes.
And, we amassed about 85 kids. It would have put us up there with one of the largest clubs on campus. I said before it probably would have made us the largest, but I'm not sure if it's true. But definitely one of, because, I think
I bet it would have grown. I could see that.
That's another thing that I'll get into. If we would have got chartered, and, I'll get into the whole story. And
Oh, we're going to
in
make
a
this
second
happen.
now.
I didn't forget about it. We got to have some ideas.
If we got chartered, we would have grew to 200, I think, in less than a month. I mean,
Wow.
we grew with 85 kids. Think there was no flyers. We have no
Right.
tables
It was just word of mouth.
at club events. Just
Yeah.
word of mouth,
Yeah.
and us posting on Instagram.
Wow.
Anyway, we put in our application, Turning Point USA. Here's our e-board. Blah blah blah. Here's our mission statement. Whatever, we submit it through, and the first round's kind of a formality. They're like, "All right, you guys are good. Come down to interview." There was there was 18 groups that interviewed. We were the 18th group to go. Was that on purpose?
Sounds like it.
Was that on purpose? I don't know. All I do know is that you're only supposed to get asked questions for 5 minutes. If we went last, We could be questioned for a lot more than 5 minutes. We were questioned for almost 25 minutes. Was that a coincidence?
Wow.
Who knows? But it just conveniently fit the time slot. Anyway, we go up there, suit and tie. We went on Zooms. We got there early. We prepared. We really wanted this to happen. We really, really wanted this to happen. A lot of us were moved, or all of us were moved. A lot of the people in the group me were moved by Charlie passing away. Everyone on the e-board was moved by Charlie passing away. This was something that St. John's should have.
Right.
If you look at that Vincentian mission statement, it is parallel to the Turning Point mission statement. It's a Catholic university. It's a Christian group. Turning Point doesn't take $1 from St. John's. It's all dependent on it depends all on
It's all organic.
the
Yeah.
national organization for funding.
Yeah.
The only thing, like if SGI funded us, which is a student government, we'd maybe use the money for like transportation if we had a speaker. But there's no financial burden, on St. John's. The school, what was I going to say? The students, there was 85 students, from the school.
No-brainer.
It was a no-brainer. It's a Christian group. And we did our whole presentation. It was beautiful. We dotted every I, crossed every T.
No reason not to have it.
No, no reason, and we didn't get a reason really.
Yeah.
And the first question they asked was, well, how are you going to respond to the negative kickback you get from students that are offended by your group? Or, students that are offended by Charlie Kirk's message, the founder.
We're covered in the armor of God.
Yeah. What were we going to do to aid the people who were offended? And we responded honestly. We said, one, if they're offended, we'd love to talk about it. The whole point of Turning Point is for viewpoint
Open
diversity.
discussions, yeah.
Let's talk
Prove
about
me
it.
wrong.
You don't like, exactly, prove me
Prove me
wrong.
wrong.
Exactly. Listen, you don't like Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Let's sit up here and talk about it.
Yeah.
You like illegal immigration. I don't. Let's talk about
It's
it. That was the whole thing.
The open exchange of ideas.
100%.
Yep.
From young minds, getting
Yeah.
them thinking.
Yes.
It would have been good for both sides.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And
Yes.
that's something that St. John's lacks. And this isn't like I'm not defaming the school in any way by saying this. There is zero right-leaning groups. Zero. It's not even like this may be right-leaning a little bit. There's zero. But at St. John's, there's a Palestinian Solidarity Committee. There's an Arab Students Association, a Muslim Student Association.
What about those of you that are offended by that?
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter. There's a Spectrum Club that we talked about earlier. There's a NAACP. There's a million different things at St. John's. A Feminist Unite group. And they say,
oh my God.
these are human rights organizations. That's something that I get all the time. They're human rights organizations. And
What about a constitutional right organization?
it's funny enough because a lot of them will go, and I mean, like we looked at posts. Like there's a post the Palestinian group put out, or the Spectrum Club put out a post when Trump won.
Wait, when you say spectrum,
It's an LGBTQ group.
and
It's
they call that spectrum?
Yeah, Spectrum Club.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, it's-
sorry. I have. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, they put out a post when Trump
Oh,
won in
boy.
2024, and it was like to the black community, to the LGBTQ community, to the immigrant community, and the list is like a whole page long, and it's like, we stand with you, we feel the pain you feel the day after the election.
Oh my God. They need
crazy.
those
I can pull it up
safe
right now.
spaces,
It's
yeah.
probably still there unless they deleted
my
it.
God,
They
like,
caught wind.
Give them the safe space.
Right.
But it's all politically charged,
Yeah.
and that's the whole point. And like I said earlier, I have nothing against these groups. Let them be there.
Yeah.
But don't turn around and deny Turning Point.
That's
and I
right.
want to be very clear. Who denied us? It's the SGI of St. John's, which is a student elected officials. So a lot of the kickback we hear now is, well, Massimo, you should run kids for the student government. How student government works is St. John's is a university. It's divided into 4 colleges. Each college has students in 4 different grades. So now you have 3 representatives for each grade in a college. You understand what I'm saying? So
So there's 12.
so there's 12 for each college.
Okay.
So there's 48 representatives, right? There's senators, and I don't know exactly how the voting works. But for me to sit there and run a conservative when I'm outnumbered, I mean, they're running the student government like it's an assembly seat, first of all. When you have probably 25% of conservative students that are completely silenced by this
Right.
program and this system that St. John's has perfectly curated. So did St. John's, was Shanley in there, the Father Shanley, the head of St. John's, was he in there and said, no, Turning Point, you can't be in here. You can't be in this. You can't be in this group. You can't be in this school. No, he wasn't there. But the system that St. John's has curated is preventing us and marginalizing us from being on campus. So directly, no. Did St. John's administration deny us? No. The student government did.
Right.
But they're not accommodating.
Can you appeal it?
No, there's no appeal process, and we'll actually get into what's happening now. They're, not going to sit there and admit fault, but what St. John's is doing now is they're tweaking the process to get on St. John's. There's a word for it. I guess a student government chartered club. They're tweaking the process. I think there's an abbreviation for that.
Okay.
But now they're tweaking that process. What the process is going to look like, we don't know. They could turn around. It could be some BS. Whatever it may be, they're making it easier. But now we have to kick the can down the road. And now I'm going to be a junior when they do this. Dylan and Jack are going to be seniors. They have credits from high school.
We got to fight. This is bullshit.
So it really is. And these,
God, we have 1 minute left.
I know.
this student government, I'll be quick. Not personally, I don't want to attack them, but all of these kids are left-leaning kids that were elected by left-leaning kids at a Catholic school where the majority of students who go there are left-leaning. See, St. John's knows its population. St. John's knows the students there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason that the 25 to 30 to maybe 35% of students that are conservative should be getting marginalized. And I'll end there. It's a tragedy.
I bet you it's even more than that.
Anyone in Long Island, you probably have a lot of Long Island listeners. If you want to send your son or daughter to St. John's University, know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
It's not a Catholic. It's not this Catholic private
Actually,
education.
every school is like that. I'm hearing really Hillsdale, Liberty are the
St.
only
John's is no
ones.
different. I feel like a lot of parents don't get that. If one thing I could get across in this podcast, St. John's is not like this Catholic.
No, and I want to just tell the parents really quick too. The same thing it means for K through 12. That's why I pulled my kids out of school. I pulled my kids out of public school, but Catholic schools, especially in places here like New York, they have to follow the New York State guidelines, and we know how tyrannical and evil and demonic the New York State education system is.
Academia, that's it.
By putting your kids in Catholic school, you're not really helping their education much. You're just paying a lot of money to be indoctrinated in a softer way.
It goes back to Marx. If you want to take over a society, you want to take over a country,
That's right.
You start
With the
in the
children.
schools. You
Listen,
start with education.
I'm going to tell you something really quick. We did a deep dive in 2021. All those higher representatives and BOCES on Long Island all came from the College of St. Rose in Albany. You know who that was founded by? Albert Randolph Hertz, one of the biggest Marxists there. So
I didn't know that.
BOCES is being funneled down from the top by Marxists coming down to our children. And there you have it, folks, for New York State law, education.
Lord.
So I don't think we're going to get to announcements. So you're going to have to look at our website for the announcements, please.
Yeah.
But we do have a beautiful prayer,
Yes.
if you don't mind. Are you good to pray?
Absolutely,
You're good?
please.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Comfortable with
Here
that,
we
okay?
go.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Heavenly Father, as we walk through this sacred Holy Week, we thank you for the gift of freedom and of the sacrifice of your Son, Jesus Christ, who laid down his life for all people. Bless our nation with hearts that seek truth, justice, and righteousness, and unite us in faith, humility, and love. Lord, we lift up Massimo, a young patriot. Cover him with your protection. Guide his steps in wisdom and courage, and strengthen his heart to stand firm in faith and truth. We also remember our dear, faithful patriot brother Guy, who was called home to heaven. Grant him eternal rest in your presence. Comfort and bless his beloved wife Monica, his children, grandchildren, and all family and friends. Surround them with your peace, carry them through their grief, and fill them with the hope of your promises. Lord Jesus, as we remember your suffering, death, and glorious resurrection, awaken us in a renewed devotion to serve you boldly and live out our faith with courage. May your resurrection power bring healing to our land, restore hope to our people, and guide us to be a light that reflects your truth and grace. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
And as always, keep your faith strong, your family close, and your freedom alive. Happy and blessed Easter from our family to yours. Thank you so much for being here, Massimo.
Thank you.
God bless you all. We love
Absolutely.
you. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. And the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be. America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see. A symbol of hope, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, We stand tall and free in the America First Warehouse.